We'll reopen the meeting. So the question that we've got in front of us really is whether we want to remove the reference to non-complying or whether we want to delegate it to a smaller group to consider that.
We have different sort of views. Well, probably similar. Why don't you mean in the end, but at the stage don't happen on meeting?
Well, I mean,
It might be that if we're comfortable to remove the reference and we're happy with the rest of the submission, then we can move on.
yeah, we vote now. Have a vote.
I
on
think
that.
if we remove the reference, then we remain silent on it. We wouldn't pick up your point, Pauline, of making a positive comment about keeping it there. But if we remove the reference, it addresses the issue that Helen raised with us and that the discussion's been about in some way, but it does it in a reasonably neutral way rather than doing the opposite, which also picks up, staff advice is that you would be quite comfortable with us removing that reference, isn't it?
The most pragmatic way to do it.
We do it now for.
Yep, so proposal then is that we remove the reference. So Sam and Pauline, do you want to move and second that we...
No, because I'd rather move that we positively state that we'd like to retain it,
Okay.
but I don't know if I've got the numbers to get that through. So if I don't, I'll support the staying silent.
I'll second. Then I have a question then of staff if Pauline's
Yeah,
going to move
okay, let's do that.
Staff's professional view, would it be best either to leave it in or take it out and remain silent, or actually do what Pauline would like? And where do you draw that line?
I think also recognising that this submission is one of a number of opportunities we will have to feed into the process over the next coming months. So we haven't got the draft legislation yet. And actually we're going to be coming back to you, and we've just received another proposal on this matter, and we'll be coming back to you in the next week on that as well. So there's going to be lots of opportunities to provide input. I think I was trying to get more information around the question that Councillor Johansson raised about the number of consents approved or declined. We can provide that information to you, and I don't have it to hand now. It will take a bit of time to do, but we can provide that information to you, and maybe in the next round of consultation we can make a more well-informed decision on that. So my recommendation would be to remain silent on it at this stage, but we can open the door to providing more information on this and more informed discussion on this in the next round of consultation.
That sounds sensible. So Sam, you're happy to move the staff recommendation, but with the reference to non-complying activity removed? Yep. Is there a seconder for that? Mike, you'll second. So that's where we've landed. Is there any discussion? Tim?
I think with the next round, as you've pointed out, there's more discussion on this that we do need to really have a discussion about. I believe that our communities are feeling more and more removed from being able to protect what they protect their communities from what's happening with the RMA, and I don't think that's acceptable. And whether it is driven from central government, but we represent the local communities and the city, and so I think in the next discussion it would be really good to have a briefing and get around the table and round out to the nitty gritty and really be seen to commit to supporting our communities.
Pauline?
Yeah, look, I absolutely support what Tim said there, and it is, as I think I coined it, for like a red flag to say something's non-complying. That could also be seen negatively from those who are trying to streamline this process, because it sets the community on their toes and they go, oh, hang on, this is something that we need to... And that's not streamlining, that's actually slowing it down. So streamlining has its risks. And although the intent is good, cut the red tape, it has its risks. So that's why I personally would like to retain the non-complying activity status there. I assume that we'll be hearing from communities on this as well. So I'll accept at the moment that we remain silent on it because we're not actually supporting the removal, but I'm hoping that we'll come back and we can do more work on it with more information. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Leanne?
First of all, I'd just like to acknowledge staff because they've gone to a lot of trouble to develop this response. But I just want to highlight paragraph 8 of the response, which says that we're awaiting further clarity on a range of topics raised in our submission on the natural and built environment, the exposure draft bill, and they're not covered in the discussion document. So this is only part of a bigger picture. And as has been said, there are 3 pieces of legislation that will replace the Resource Management Act, and it's going to be absolutely beholden on this council and others to contribute to the process every single step of the way. The issues that are not covered in the document, the role of the joint committees, how they're made up, how distant they are from local communities, which is exactly the point that both Tim and Pauline have raised, how public participation will be encouraged and increased in the new system, because people do feel quite distant from what is a technical decision. We've said in this submission, we do not want to have a mini judicial process. We actually want it to be inquisitorial. We want lay people to be able to talk to placemaking in their own place that they live, work, play. Planning towards transition and implementation of the new system. Can I just mention the connection to the 3 waters reforms and the stormwater decision that was included later in the piece? The fundamental position around stormwater is about a discharge decision made under resource planning law. It is not covered in the resource management reforms, but if we are to get clean rivers, clean lakes, clean streams, clean harbours, clean estuaries, then we are absolutely needing to focus on those things. And then the treatment of technical matters, the one that I'll highlight, is ensuring quality built environments. It's absolutely core critical. None of these are covered by this submission, but nobody can take their eye off the ball on that.
Thank you. I'm comfortable where we've got to today. I think it was great that Helen raised the issue that she did in the deputation this morning. It's good that we were able to pick that up in some discussion and able to respond to the deputation and also take staff advice, realising, as has been said, that this is just one of a number of opportunities that we'll have to influence. So I'm very comfortable where we've ended up, realising that there will be other opportunities as well. So I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against, that's carried.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So now moving on to item